Good afternoon. This is the organizational council meeting for the town of Rocky Mountain House for October 19th of 2022. It's 1 p.m. and I'm going to call the meeting to order. So on 2.1 adoption of the agenda for October 18th, I already have one addition. We are going to add 4.28 for West Central stakeholders to review and appointments to committee. So online, it's already been adjusted, but I have to make the motion to add that to the agenda. Is there any other items that we need to add or change to the agenda? Is there any problems with the addition of 4.28 to this agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adopt the agenda for October 19th, 2022. Councillor Boniface.
I will make the motion that we adopt the agenda for our organizational meeting, October 19th.
With the addition.
With the addition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, I'll call that to a vote. All in favor? And that's carried. So 3.1 seating arrangements to approve the seat arrangements for town council. Is there any buddy who wants to change anything the way it currently is? Okay, perfect. So that was another easy one. So I will call motion. I need to ask for a motion to accept the seating arrangements. Councillor Hutchinson.
I'll make the motion to approve the seating arrangements for town council.
Thank you very much. All in favor? And that's carried. Moving forward in the agenda, review appointments to committees, review of town council committees. And we will be making a resolution for each one. Is that correct, Mr. Krause? Yeah. And then I will ask if there's any interest for each one when we get to it. Does that sound like what we've discussed? And then there's private ballots if there's any lots of interest. Thank you. I'm like, if there's any discussion over who should be on, if there's extra interest in one committee over another. So do you want me to go through the like everybody has the reference? So 4.2, the airport committee. So even though I'll be right with you before we get to that. Okay.
Sorry, just on the terms of reference, is there any additional details for the West Central stakeholders, like when they meet, times, anything like that? But
Yeah, so I sent an email 2 days ago or just more. I don't know when I sent that email. They meet the first Thursday of the month, but not in the summertime.
Okay.
It's been at Leslieville. Or you can attend on Zoom.
thank you.
And it goes usually from 3 till 5. And then since COVID's ended, they've had a complimentary supper following.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if there's no other concerns, we will move to 4.2, the airport committee. So even though with our discussions with ICC, we're not having airport committee meetings right now, we have still keep it in our bylaw and until we have further discussions. So it's sort of a moot point, but if there's any changes, like we're not meeting anyways. Is there any interest to change what we have going on with the airport committee? Seeing none, then we can make a resolution to accept the committee members for the airport committee. Is that, am I making that the right wording? Okay. So currently in the Airport Committee, the counselors appointed are Mayor Beach, Counselor Ald, and the alternate is Counselor Caprero. So we need a resolution for the Airport Committee, please. Counselor Ald.
I'll make the motion that we keep the current councilors on the airport committee. Mayor Beach, Councilor David Alden, and Councilor Caparo as an alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. The next one is 4.3 Clearwater Regional FCSS Board. So currently on the FCSS board is Counselor Phillips and the alternate is Counselor Hutchinson. Is there any interest on that? Okay, would someone like to make a motion for that board? It's going to be repetitive, yeah.
I'll make the
Counselor.
motion to accept Counselor Phillips as the counselor appointed to Clearwater Regional FCSS Board and myself as the alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that? And that's carried. So the next one, 4.4 Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee, which is the ICC. Currently, we have on the ICC, Mayor Beach, Councilor Hutchinson, and Councilor Boniface as the alternate. Is there any interest in that? Councilor Phillips.
Yeah, I would like to sit on that committee.
Okay. Councilor Hutchinson, did you want to stay on that committee?
I don't necessarily have to, if we want to free that up for somebody else. Unless Councillor Boniface has been alternate, if he would like a opportunity as well.
Councilor Boniface?
Because Councilor Hutchinson already has a year's worth of knowledge of what goes on in the ICC. And Councilor Phillips wishes to be in there. I'm more than willing to step back, take a different one and let Councilor Hutchinson be the alternate. And then that way it'll still have that hands-on from the experience she's gained already.
Okay, that sounds great. Is that agreeable to everyone? Councilor Alt?
I'd like to throw my name in there as well.
Okay,
I'd like to be on that.
so Councilor Phillips, so then we'll need a ballot, please.
And just while we're on that topic, is this where we are going to add the negotiating committee to the ICC?
Mr. Kraus?
Yeah, so for clarification, so there's two ICC meetings, so the ICC committee that council's talking about now is the
Tri-Council.
Tri-Council. And the next one on the agenda is just the
The
county and the town. In discussions at the service level review, so 4.7 negotiating committee council is just going to disband that committee. And then just use the ICC meetings or the ICC appointees as the negotiating, depending which ICC matters up.
Does that answer your question? So on the ballot, we're going to be picking between Councillor Alt and Councillor Phillips because Councillor Hutchinson has declined. Is that correct? Councillor.
Are you wanting to stay on that one, Mayor Beach?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have to stay on that one as. Correct?
Council can delegate someone else besides the mayor under the agreement, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, yes, I would like to stay on that one for sure as part of good relations with our community. So then we're going to pick all two names on the ballot between myself, Councillor Alt and Councillor Phillips. Is that correct? Okay. Okay, I have one for Mayor Beach. Councilor O, Councilor Phillips. Mayor Beach, Councilor Phillips. Mayor Beach, Councilor Phillips. That is five for Mayor Beach. And five for Phillips. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll need a resolution for the ICC committee, listing Councillor Phillips and Mayor Beach as the councillors appointed, and then Councillor Hutchinson and Councillor All. Did you want to discuss the alternate position right now? Is that how, or yes?
I'm fine with Councilor Hutchinson staying on that as alternate.
Okay. So I'll make a motion, if that's all right with everyone, to retain, the intermunicipal collaboration committee will consist of councillors appointed of Mayor Beach and Councillor Phillips, and our alternate would be Councillor Hutchinson. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So the IDP 4.6. Right now we have Mayor Beach, Councillor Hutchinson.
4.5.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's in a different order. Rocky Clearwater Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee. So that's ICC again. Do we have a different? That's the same people as the regular ICC, right? Okay. It's not on my appointments schedule. So that's the one we do with Caroline, right? The count. Okay, and so who's currently on that one? It would be the same members, Mayor, as the IDP. If that helps. Okay, so the 4.5 Rocky Clearwater Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee, ICC ICF, consists of Mayor Beach, Councillor Hutchinson, Councillor Caprero, and the alternate is Councillor Phillips. So because I'm on the ICC, I would like to stay on the ICC ICF. Then we have Councillor Hutchinson, Councillor Caprero on that committee. Did we want to have any new members or changes to that? Councillor Caprero?
I'd like to remain on that one.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hutchinson?
I as well would like to stay on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Councillor Phillips?
Just for pure smooth transition, I would like to go on that one as well. Just because the two ICCs kind of blend in together.
Okay. And is there any other interest? Nope. So then we have 4 people for 3 positions. We'll need to do a ballot again. So this time we vote for 3 different council members and mayors. Okay, just want to clarify. Let me get your steps into me. Laura's watching this. Or you're bringing on the box. That's what you're gonna do. I'm like, don't sit down. I'm a fast checker offerer. Your Fitbit's gonna be like. Okay. Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips. Mayor Beach, Counselor Caprero, Counselor Phillips. Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips. Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips. Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips. Mayor Beach, Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson. So we have 5 votes for Hutchinson. Counselor Caprero has 6 and Counselor Phillips has 5. Okay, well, thank you very much. So the Rocky Clearwater Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee, ICC-ICF, will consist of Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips. All in favor of that?
Do we need an alternate for that?
Oh, I'm sorry. So because I've been on that one, I would like to maintain some consistency and be the alternate for that. Does anyone have a problem with that? Okay. So I'll go over that again. The 4.5 Rocky Clearwater Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee, ICC-ICF, would consist of Counselor Caprero, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Phillips, and the alternate would be Mayor Beach. All in favor. Can I just make that motion since I read it twice now? All in favor? And that's carried. So moving to 4.6, the Intermunicipal Development Plan Committee, the IDP, currently consists of Mayor Beach, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Caprero, and the alternate is Counselor Phillips. And I would like to stay on that committee with some of my experience of development and the other ICC committees. I think it's a benefit to have me on there. So I'd like to stay. Counselor Hutchinson and then, or sorry, Counselor Caprero, we'll go alphabetical. Did you want to stay on the intermunicipal IDP? No. Counselor Hutchinson.
I would like to stay.
Counselor Phillips, did you want to stay as the alternate or did you want?
I can stay as the alternate, sure.
Okay, so seeing as there's we don't have to run a ballot for that one. Would someone like to make a resolution for that, please? The IDP. So I'll make that resolution. The Intermunicipal Development Plan Committee, the IDP, will consist of councillors appointed, Mayor Beach, Counselor Hutchinson, Counselor Caprero, with the alternate being Counselor Phillips. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Thank you very much. Moving forward, the negotiating committee. So as previously discussed, it's okay. As previously discussed, the negotiating committee, where I'm going to ask for, and we discussed it at the service level, I'm going to ask for a resolution to disband the negotiating committee as it will be taken over with the ICC. Counselor Ald.
I'll make that motion.
Perfect. All in favor of a resolution to disband the negotiating committee? And that's carried. Thank you very much. 4.8. Recreation, Parks and Community Service Board. Currently, we have Counselor Hutchinson and the alternate is Counselor Fraser. And yes, with Counselor Fraser being away, I don't know who was the temporary person, but should assign someone until the by-election is completed. Do we know who that is? It's not on my sheet. Counselor Hutchinson, who is the
I
alternate?
thought it was you. Didn't we redo that?
Well,
at
I'm sorry,
previous
I don't
meeting?
have that.
Yeah,
I don't have that updated paper. So I would like to be on the Recreation Parks and Community Service. It's one of our bigger budget items. And I think I would like to be more involved with that committee. Did you want to stay on that committee, Councillor Hutchinson?
yeah, I wanted to, as I'm going to the conference in 5 days this week. I
Okay.
just think there'd be helpful information attending that.
Okay, Councillor Caprero.
I'm happy to be alternate if, I don't know if this is the time when I say that or not. but
Yeah, you can say it
just
anytime.
As
Yeah,
alternate, since Marin's no longer here.
absolutely. So, I think I still would, because now I'm freed up with ICC, I think I would still like to be on the Recreation and Parks board. So we should do a ballot for that then.
Just a question, how would that, if I'm attending the conference, are these terms starting November 1st? Ideally. So with me attending that conference, do I
You just submit a
still
report like a normal,
attend?
and then you'd submit a report like a normal conference. Need more ballot? No. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, first one's for Councillor Hutchinson. Second one's for Mayor Bache. Councillor Hutchinson. Councillor Hutchinson. Mayor Bache. Councillor Hutchinson. So that's 4 for Councillor Hutchinson.
Perfect. So I'd like to put my name in then for the alternate as it stands. Councillor Caprero, did you want to have a ballot on that one or?
I'd like to be on there for alternate, so yeah.
Okay. So we'll need another, so then, you know what? I will let Councillor Caprero be the alternate for the Recreation Board. So can we have a motion for the Recreation Parks and Community Service Board?
I'll make a motion that Councillor Hutchinson is the appointee for the Recreational and Community Services Board and Councillor Caprero would be the alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So moving on to 4.9, the Rocky Public Library and Parkland Regional Library Systems Board. Currently, we have Councillor Phillips. And again, I have Councillor Fraser on there without an update. Do you know who the alternate is right now? Councillor Phillips, do you remember?
I believe it's Councillor Hutchinson. I can have Hutchinson.
Okay, Councillor Phillips, did you want to remain on the Parkland Regional Board?
Yes, I wouldn't mind remaining on that board.
Is there any interest from anyone else? Seeing none, I think we can make the motion then I'll make the motion to smooth things along forward. Is there anyone interested in being the alternate? Councillor Hutchinson, are you okay to be the alternate? Councillor Caprio? Okay, so I'll make the motion that the Rocky Public Library Board and Parkland Regional Library Systems Board, the councillors appointed are Councillor Phillips and the alternate is Councillor Hutchinson. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So 4.10, the School Resources Officer. I have Councillor Ald and the alternative is Councillor Boniface. Councillor Ald.
I'm fine with staying on that committee. Pleases.
Councillor Boniface, are you okay to stay as the alternate? Is there anybody else who has any interest on that board? Seeing none, would someone like to make the motion? Councillor Caprero,
I will make the motion that Counselor Ald remain as the appointed counselor for the School Resources Officer Committee with Counselor Boniface as the alternate.
perfect, thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. 4.11, the Anti-Racism Task Force. Currently, the counselors appointed are Mayor Bache, Councillor Boniface, and the alternate is Councillor Ald. And so that's another one that we haven't met this year, right? Yeah. So is there any interest on any of those positions? Councillor Caprero, you have your light on. Oh, no, that's fine. I just don't want to miss you if you have interest. Seeing no interest, I think would like someone like to make the motion for the Anti-Racism Task Force 4.11.
I'll make the motion that we leave the existing counselors on that task force and the alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So 4.12 or 4.12 is the Environmental Sustainability Committee. And again, we discussed that at the service level review. And I'm going to ask for a resolution to disband the Environmental Sustainability Committee. Any discussion on that? Would someone like to make the motion? Councillor Hutchinson?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you very much. All in favor to disband the Environmental Sustainability Committee? And that's carried. 4.13, the Finance Framework Committee. Again, as discussed at the service level review, I'm going to ask for a resolution to disband the Finance Framework Committee. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, I'll call that to a vote. I'll make the motion to disband the Finance Framework Committee. All in favor of that motion. And that's carried. So 4.14 is another committee that we discussed at the service level review. I'm going to ask for a resolution to disband 4.14, the Land Development Task Force Committee. Someone like to make that motion?
I will make the motion to disband the Land Development Task Force Committee.
Thank you, Councillor Phillips. You're right on top of that. I didn't have your name out of my mouth yet. All in favor of that? And that's carried. So moving forward in the agenda, 4.15, the Municipal Emergency Advisory Committee. I just got to find it on my sheet. So that consists of Mayor Bache, Councillor Phillips, and Councillor Caprero. And right now, I don't know who the alternate is again. Do we? Oh, it's not applicable. We don't need an alternate. Sorry. I just thought it was another issue. Is there any interest of staying on or leaving that committee?
I wouldn't mind staying on that committee.
Councillor Caprero?
I'd like to stay on there too.
Okay. Councillor Hutchinson, did you want to go on that committee?
I would like to try that one.
Okay, so do I have to be on that with the MP, yeah.
Mayor, I'd have to review the bylaw, but council would be able to delegate if they wanted to.
Okay, So I'll stay on that for now. We're gonna be going over this all over again. When the new council member is taken up. So would you be okay just to leave it with those three members until we can research what the legalities of that is for now, or and then wait until the next, we're doing this again in a month, right?
Yeah.
Or a month and a half.
A question for Mr. Kraus.
Sure.
So you're saying that's our bylaw that may state it, not the MGA?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Yes, then I would be all right with that.
Okay. So if there's no further interest or discussion, and Councillor Phillips and Councillor Capero didn't want to change with Councillor Hutchinson. Seeing not, then I'll call that to a vote. So the Municipal Emergency Advisory Committee would consist of councillors appointed Mayor Bache, Councillor Phillips, Councillor Capero, and there is no alternative at this time. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. The Municipal Planning Commission, the MPC, currently it's Councillor Auld and Councillor Hutchinson with Mayor Bache as the alternate. Is there any interest in that committee? Councillor Auld.
I'd like to stay on that committee.
Yeah, I'll stay on that one as well.
Councillor Hutchinson, great. So I would stay as an alternate unless somebody else wanted to. I know you expressed interest in that like a year ago. That's MPC is like development stuff. Did you want to be the alternate or did you want to have me stay on as alternate?
If you would like to stay.
Okay. Okay, I remember last year you're like, oh, that's the one I wanted. I don't remember which one you got on, but that was the one that at the time you wanted. So, okay, so would someone like to make a motion for the MPC committee, please? Councillor Hutchinson,
I'll make the motion that the MPC committee, Councillor Auld, Councillor Hutchinson as appointed councillors and Mayor Bache as alternate.
thank you very much. All in favor of that? And that's carried. So 4.17, the policing committee. It currently consists of Mayor Bache, Councillor Boniface, and Councillor Phillips is the alternate. And so I would like to stay on the policing committee. Councillor Boniface,
I would also like to stay on the policing committee.
thank you very much. Councillor Phillips, did you want to stay as
Yeah,
the
I can stay
alternate?
as the alternate, sure.
Thank you. Is there any interest in that committee? Seeing none. Would someone like to make the motion? Councillor Auld.
I'll make the motion that the existing councillors, Mayor Beach, Councillor Boniface as the regular committee members with Councillor Phillips as the alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So now we're down to 4.18. Mr. Kraus, in the bylaw, does it say that it has to be the mayor on that committee?
No.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious because I didn't know. So I would like to move off of that committee. And Councillor Fraser is no longer there, and I don't know who replaced her. We haven't met for a while. Councillor Capero.
I replaced Councillor Fraser, and I would like to stay with the Youth Advisory Committee.
Okay. So we need another member for an appointed, and then we also need an alternate. Councillor Auld.
If the mayor wants to step off that committee, I would go back on that one.
Councillor Auld. And is there someone who'd be interested in being an alternate?
I'll take the alternate if nobody
Okay,
else wants
Councillor
to.
Hutchinson. So make the motion that, is there any other interest for that committee? Seeing none, I'll make the motion that the Youth Advisory Committee for 4.18 consists of Councillor Auld, Councillor Caprero, and the alternate is Councillor Hutchinson. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So 4.19, the Alberta Japan Twin Municipalities Association. That has myself on it. Is there any interest in being part of that committee? Seeing none, I'll let my name stand for that. Is there any further discussion? I just feel like I'm repeating things every time, so all in, make the motion, or no, could someone make the motion?
I'll make the motion that Mayor Beach be on the Alberta Japan Twinned Municipalities Association.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So 4.20, the Central Alberta Mayors and Reeves, Mayor Beach, and the alternate is the deputy mayor of the time. Could I have a motion for that? Councillor Alt?
Yeah, that one doesn't need any more discussion, so I will make the motion that the mayor stays on the Central Alberta Mayors and Reeves with the deputy mayor as alternate.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that? And that's carried. So the Clearwater, the Clearwater Community Policing Advisory Committee no longer exists. So I need to ask for a resolution to disband that committee. Councillor Boniface,
I will make the motion that we disband the Clearwater Community Policing Advisory Committee.
thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Okay, that one wasn't on my list. Community Futures. No, was this one that we were going to have a discussion? No,
No, Mayor, council just asked us to contact them to come as a delegation to council. Yeah.
right, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. There was a lot on this list. So currently we have Councillor Phillips on Community Futures and there's no alternate. Did you want to remain on that?
Yes, I would like to remain on this one. This is one of those committees that there's intensive training to be on this committee, and it makes sense to at least stay on for a few years in a row, just because there is such a steep learning curve on this one.
Was there any interest in being on that committee Seeing none, I just had to ask the question. Would someone like to make a resolution? Councillor Caprero.
I will make the motion that Councillor Phillips remain as the appointed councillor for the Community Futures Committee.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried.
Did we need an alternate for that committee?
It says not applicable on my sheet, but do you want to? Okay,
Actually, yeah, Mr. Kress, sir, you're correct. They don't take alternates. It's the board committees, and that's it. There is no alternates.
Okay.
I stand corrected.
okay, no problem. The North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance, the NSWA membership, and currently Mayor Beach is on there, myself. Is there any interest in being on that committee? See none. Alternate determined at council meetings. So I don't have to do that today, right? Do we want to do that now or do we want to wait till does that sound fair to everyone? Okay, so we'll need a motion then, please, for 4.23.
I'll make the motion that we leave Mayor Beach as the counselor for North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Thank you, Councillor Boniface. Rocky Community Learning Council. I don't know who I have on there right now. Councillor Hutchinson, are you okay to have your name stand?
Yes, I am.
And who is the alternate on there? I believe I'm off of it. Because I couldn't make whatever meeting was going on. Councillor Caprero.
I'm unsure who is the alternate, but I'd be happy to put my name in for it.
Okay. Is there any other interest on the Rocky Community Learning Council Committee? Seeing none, I'll make the motion for the Rocky Community Learning Council, the counselor appointed is Counselor Hutchinson and the alternate is Counselor Caprero. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Okay, so 4.25, the Rocky Mountain House Clearwater County Healthcare Professionals Engagement Team. And we have discussed this at the service level review, and we've designated that 2 community members will be on that. Are we still happy with that? So make the motion to stay the same, that 2 council designates have been selected for a 1-year. Council Tracy.
So Mayor, we have 2, like, there's 4 open positions, 2 public members. And then 2 positions that were delegated to public members from council. So if council wants to go back on, there's 2 open positions for councilors to take right now.
Would anybody be interested in that?
Sorry, do we have a timing when their meetings take place?
It's a Wednesday.
Sorry, Mayor, to Councilor Hutchinson, I'm not quite sure when they meet.
Counselor All found it. What was it?
Meets every first Wednesday of the month. Large group meets every second month and sub teams meet in the alternating months, but it doesn't give times.
Do you want to leave that one until the next, or do you think that would?
Yeah, I mean, you could put me down on it, but I guess once we find out if it's a conflict, then we'd have to wait, or we could just leave it until our next organizational meeting with the new counselor. Or are they required to have the full positions immediately?
No, well, if we make the motion, then you have to go. So do you want to wait till we find out if it conflicts with your other committees first?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Does that sound accurate, Mr. Kroos?
Yeah. So your worship, so it'd be just a motion that council keep the 2 council positions on this committee vacant until determined in the near future or somewhere.
Or just do we want, because we discussed that we were going to turn all those positions over to community members because it's such an important and very time. Do we have 3 people that want to be on that right now?
Your Honor, no.
Okay. I just don't want to exclude someone if there's a possibility of having a 3rd person on there while we're keeping it vacant. So I just wanted to check that. So just want to make the motion. Councillor Hutchinson.
I'll make the motion that we keep 2 council positions vacant for the Rocky Mountain House Clearwater County Healthcare Professionals Engagement Team for
Status quo.
the status quo, or do we want
And review after by election.
and review after by-election?
All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So we're at 4.26, the Rocky Museum Operations Board. Currently, we have Councillor Phillips and Councillor Boniface with the alternate of Mayor Beige. Is there any interest in being on that board? Councillor Boniface, did you want to remain on that board?
Yes, I'm fine staying there, but if somebody would like to take it over, I'm more than willing to give it up.
Councillor Phillips, did you want to remain on that board?
I'm the same. I can remain on, or if someone else wants it, that's fine too.
And I'm the same for the alternate. So is there any interest in from anyone? Okay, so I'll move things along. The Rocky Museum, I'll make the motion that the Rocky Museum Operations Board retain Counselor Phillips and Counselor Boniface as appointed council members, committee members, and Mayor Beach is the alternate. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Four point two seven, Rocky Senior Housing Council. Currently, we have Counselor Hutchinson on that board. Is there any interest, or sorry, Counselor Hutchinson, would you like to remain on that board?
Yes, I'd like to remain on, and similar to what Counselor Phillips said about his committee, that, you know, you're already just getting involved with that one and signing authority to the bank and things like that. So I think it would be a good idea to keep it, continue it for another term.
Perfect. Is there any interest in the Rocky Senior Housing Council? Seeing none, does someone want to call that Counselor Alt?
I'll make the motion that Counselor Hutchinson remains as the delegate for the Rocky Senior Housing Council.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And so now 4.28, the West Central Stakeholders Committee. It was. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. All in favor of that last resolution, and that's carried. 4.28 now, West Central Stakeholders. I've been on that committee. And are we? Do I have to add that to the list? Like, I can't remember what we said. I have your red pen writing, but I have no. Oh, okay. So is there any interest in someone else attending those meetings?
Sorry, just for clarification, they're looking for just one member of council and that's it?
Right, because we already have the EDO.
Okay.
Is that the right letters? Jeff goes. Counselor Hutchinson.
I wouldn't mind checking out that board, see what it's
Okay.
about.
So, I would like to stay on that board because I'm freeing up quite a bit of time lately now that I'm not on the ICC and you're on all the other boards.
I have time.
So, I wouldn't mind staying on that one because I've been going to it for a year now, but is there any other interest for that board? Did you want to have a ballot on that? Okay.
Mayor Beach. Hutchinson. Mayor Beach. Mayor Beach. And Hutchinson. We have a tie.
Do you want to leave that one until the next, do you want to leave that one until the next like committee meeting anyways? Because we're going to do it again in a month and then we'll have a tiebreaker with us.
So the procedure, Mayor,
Oh, okay. Put your names back in the box and then pick one, Tracy.
I do have one of each.
Oh, she's gonna make Rob pick.
Mayor Beach.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, he had his eyes closed. Anybody who didn't see. Okay, so need to make a motion. Someone like to make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that Mayor Beach is the council representative of the West Central stakeholders.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried.
Mayor, we actually just need a motion now that authorizes the legislative coordinator to destroy the ballots.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll make a motion that the legislative coordinator destroy all the ballots from the votes from today. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So 5.1, the deputy mayor schedule for town council, that's the one that we made last year. I'm just going to ask for a resolution to accept that for today because we don't have that new council member and we can always revisit it then. Is any discussion on that? Would someone like to make the resolution? Councillor Alt?
I'll make the motion that we leave the deputy mayor position the status quo.
So all in favor to keep the deputy mayor schedule status quo, all in favor of that? And that's carried. The conference convention schedule. Find our notes. So when Mr. Kraus and I were reviewing that, we found that we don't know when the AM Spring Caucus, but based on last year, it's usually Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday. It shouldn't conflict. But the spring convention from March from RMA for 2023, RMA Spring Convention, March 20th to 22nd, it conflicts with our Tuesday regularly scheduled council meeting. So Mr. Kraus and I, or a suggestion is that we do it on the 14th. I had the 13th, but then I wrote the 14th. But do you have that in front of you, Mr. Kraus?
For the council meetings? Or
Yeah, for the
conference?
council meeting.
So the conflict was RMA for March 21st
Right.
and November 7th.
Yes, there is another conflict, but I thought we'd handle that separately because we discussed maybe not attending that second RMA because it's right during budget talks.
Yeah, and that's up to council if they want to
Yeah,
just attend one RMA per
yeah.
year
So
or.
do we want to decide on? So also there's pretty much every time there's an RMA, it conflicts with our Tuesday meeting. Pretty much for the future. So one of the discussions that Mr. Kraus and I discussed was that the fall convention, it falls right after AM. There's lots of other things going on for our council, including budget and service level review. That it would be okay if we didn't attend that fall convention and just attended the spring one, because it's early. If it doesn't affect with any other like conferences or things like that, it frees up schedule at this time of year, especially and also because Mr. Crow sometimes like attends as well, right? How do you feel about? Well, first of all, do we want to move that meeting? The suggestion would be the 14th of March instead of the 21st. So it's the week before. Or the other solution would be the 23rd following, right? I have two notes, but I just,
So Mayor, just for clarification and maybe procedure, so moving the council meeting would be the next agenda item.
right.
So I think council's just discussing right now if council wants to attend the
Oh, okay.
fall RMAs.
Okay.
Keep it on the list.
I got all these notes on my paper. Councillor Phillips.
I think attending RMA in the spring And then the AM in the fall is probably enough that we need. I don't think we need to go to 2 RMAs over the course of a year. And I do agree that in the fall period, we do have budget, service level, we've got a lot of things going on in the fall already, plus the AM conventions. So I would not be opposed to just attending RMA in the spring and not in the fall.
I agree with Counselor Caprero.
No, thank you. I was just gonna say that I agree with Counselor Phillips as well. It's a lot to kind of jam in there. So I'd be okay with moving it to the spring as well.
Anybody opposed to that? So Mr. Kraus, what motion do I need just to remove the fall convention RMA from the list?
Yeah, that'd be correct. Yeah, so just a motion that council remove the fall RMA conference off the conference schedule.
Counselor Boniface,
I'll make a motion that we take the RMA full convention off the convention list.
can I clarify that would be for 2023 moving forward? Because we're already paid and signed up and booked for this year.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to everyone. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So, the schedule of council meetings. Yes, Councillor Alt.
We go back to the actual FCM conferences and have a discussion with that.
Yes. I don't have that just for this.
The FCM for 2024. I'm scheduled to be on that, and I would like to see if I could move that to the 2025.
I don't see a problem with that. Does anybody? Would someone like to go to the 2024? That's the one in Calgary, right?
There's I don't know if we want to wait until the other counselor is elected, if they want to put that person in that slot or not, but I know it's going to be a conflict for me.
Okay. I think I would like to give opportunity to Councillor Caprero to put her name forward.
I actually would like to, if I could switch, just because I am slotted for 2023 and that is a conflict for me.
Is that the
Right now.
Toronto one?
Yes, so I would be happy to take Councillor Ald's spot with the 2024 and going to Calgary.
Okay. Is there anybody interested in going to the 2023 Toronto one? Or do we want to wait until that new person, like you said?
Or I can just switch with Councilor Caparo.
That would be fine. And I have a question. Mr. Kraus, could I put my name off of going to Toronto for 2023, or is it something that is suitable that I would attend that no matter what?
You can take your name off, your worship, if you so wish.
Seeing as we're juggling things around, I was really looking at that the other night and seeing I've been to Toronto already once this year. I would be fine with Councillor Alt and Councillor Boniface going together and then take my name off, and then we can always fill that unless Councillor Hutchinson would like to take my place on that.
And at this point, I could.
Okay. When do we have to book all of that? That's not till the new year, right? We'd have enough time for if there's a new person who was keen.
Yes, Mayor. So usually they give us at least a couple months in advance. So we get the email, we book hotels first and then the conference in whoever's name.
Okay. So would you like your name to stand for that, or do you want to wait until?
But we could put my name down, and then when we get our new
Person.
counselor, we can discuss again.
Okay. Is there any other changes or conflicts? I'm seeing none. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the FCM conference schedule? Is it? They were frantically writing. I was watching. They usually wave at me if they've missed something. Yes, that'd be great.
2023, we have Councillor Boniface, Councillor Ald, and Councillor Hutchinson.
For 2024, we have Mayor Bates, Councilor Capero, there's a third spot that is still available. And then in 2025, we have that still to be determined. Okay, perfect. Someone like to make the motion?
I will make the motion for the FCM appointments as presented.
Thank you very much. All in favor of that motion? And that's carried. So we got FCM, AM, and RMA. I've not missed anything. So moving forward to schedule of council meetings, does that sound where we're at? Okay, so that brings us down to only one current conflict, and that would be March 21st of the RMA Spring Convention. Because our meeting is on the 21st and the convention goes the 20th to the 22nd, the idea we could have a council meeting on the 14th, or we could have it on the 23rd of March following the convention.
I'm fine with either or.
So I think Mr. Kraus would be more in favor of the 23rd because it's a long time in between. Is that correct? Yeah, so if there's no further discussion, do we want to just move it to the 23rd? Yeah. And then just before we do that, I have a note to add CAL meetings. How do I add that? I actually don't have that, but we are going to officially add them to the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. when required.
Yeah, your worship, so with council's request of having a committee of the whole meeting every second Tuesday, so we produced a new calendar for council. We are suggesting every second Tuesday, except for the months of December and July and August, just because of the time of year. And the council can approve the calendar with that, and then we will further on, we'll talk about amending the procedural bylaw to reflect that. So council can adopt the 2023 council meeting schedule as presented with the committee of the whole meetings and moving the March 21st meeting to March 23rd. That makes sense.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, so I can make that motion. So I'll make the motion to accept as presented the schedule of council meetings, and then we will add the CAL meetings in the future. And we are going to move the March 21st regular council meeting to the 23rd. Did I get enough words in there in all the right places? Okay, so I'll call that to a vote. All in favor of that? And that's carried. Thank you very much. So 8.1 is a normal MGA process. We have to review the bylaw review. And already we have to make an amendment to have scheduled the CAL meetings, is what my note says. My other note says it's suggested that we improve or outline processes more clearly for code of conduct complaints into the conduct bylaw. And we can go over this, and it's recommended that maybe we could ask for those changes and then review at the new council orientation. Did I explain that nearly correctly?
Yeah, sure, thank you. So for 8.1, your worship, for the code of conduct, so it is legislated that council review it on an annual basis. By the procedural bylaw, we do it at the organizational meeting. In my discussion with the mayor, we will be going through the code of conduct bylaw thoroughly on the orientation of the new councillor, which I think all of council is attending. So that would provide council with an in-depth discussion on it. Administration is recommending to council that we bring back a draft bylaw in the future that clearly outlines the procedure if there's a complaint. That's probably where we tested the bylaw and found that it needs clarity.
Counselor Hutchinson.
Yeah, that was going to be my question for both 8.1 and 8.2, whether it was admin doing the review, or do we put a task committee together to review with admin or the procedure, but I'm hearing from you, it's admin to bring it back to us. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we're just, we've agreed we need some adjustments to the code of conduct bylaw. So is everyone okay with just saying that we're going to make some adjustments to the code of conduct bylaw and we'll review it more thoroughly in the future, and that we're all aware of what's in it? That's what you want to have done today? Counselor Alt.
So the redesigned bylaw will be at the council orientation, or will be at a council. Okay.
So do we need a motion stating that we will have admin take back bylaw 2018/13V code of conduct bylaw to review and amend and brought back for review at a council meeting?
Yep. Okay. All in favor of that motion? If there's no, I'm sorry, if there's no further discussion, seeing none, all in favor of that motion, and that's carried. So then 8.2 is the review of council procedural bylaw. I'm sorry, this is where I have to amend it to have scheduled CAL meetings included. Is that correct?
Yeah, so your worship, so now that council's established regular committee of the whole meetings, we should amend the procedural bylaw so it's written in there, because right now in the procedural bylaw, it's just as per council's request. So we'll change the procedural bylaw to say it's every second Tuesday of the month. We would probably also include that it be added to the agenda for the first meeting of the month, where council can determine if they require that committee of the whole meeting, and they can counsel it at that meeting.
Yeah, so
it's
it's
nice to
not
see.
required. We don't have to meet.
That's right.
Does that answer everyone's questions? And that's another thing we discussed at service level review, right, too. So would someone like to make that, Tina, would you like to make that motion too?
Make the motion to amend bylaw 2021/13V council procedure bylaw to add a committee of the whole meeting to our schedule monthly, but to be discussed at the first meeting, at the first council meeting of the month, to see if it is determined to have it. Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, that's perfect. 7
Oh,
p.m.
on
Tuesday, the
Tuesday,
second
yeah,
Tuesday.
the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m.
When would council like this bylaw brought back?
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
7 p.m.
Yeah,
Is
thank
that
you.
right?
Is that what council wants? I mean, or do you want it a little earlier because it's an evening meeting, like starting at 6? Or
Counselor Alt.
I'm okay if it starts a little earlier, 5 or 6. And it works for me.
Yeah, I'm okay with 6 or 5 or whatever.
Okay,
I would prefer 6.
so 6 p.m. seems like a consensus. So
So
the start time on the CAL meetings.
to add to my resolution that the meetings start at 6 on the second Tuesday of every month as needed. Right?
Yes, yeah. All in favor of that? If there's no further discussion, looking at the lady, all in favor of that motion? And that's carried. Do we have we have no information items for number 9. We don't have any other for number 10. Mr. Kraus, do you think we have enough time in 10 minutes to go, or should I just break now? for the closed session appointments.
Your worship, I would recommend taking a break, so you can, it's up to council, they've reviewed the post agenda items. But I mean, it's appointment.
So generally what we have to do is, I'm going to break for recess at 2:20 so that we can do our normal council meeting and then come back to this. But if we think that we can do the closed session for the council, the committee appointments in 10 minutes, then it all works out. We don't have to do it following our council meeting tonight. What would you prefer? Everybody's had a chance to review all the applications, or do you think we need a little bit more time than 10 minutes? Okay, so why don't we just break now until 2:30? So I'll call a recess at whatever time, and we'll reconvene following the regular council meeting, which starts at 2:30. So we're recessed.